clap. Putting that shit right there above your head.
Right, like, you see here? Now we can talk about my story.
Yo, don't even say that. Just point to it and be like, you know what today's about.
Right. It's a celebration time. Know that righteous story. I am a person of my word, right? Alright, we're good?
Yeah, we good.
Alright, so normally I educate y'all motherfuckers, right? No selling me. Chill out. So, I am actually going to kind of take a step back from the educational aspect of things of, us trying to know better to do better. And today I'm just deciding to talk my shit. Because, you know what? Over the last couple weeks, I've really been sitting down, like, kind of meditating. But really just putting things into perspective because remember, life is all about perspective. Now, I came to realize we live in this society that is really ass backwards. And when I say ass backwards, predominantly regarding the cancel culture, but most importantly, the ghosting culture. Like, this shit is some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And like, even a little more like personal, right? It's more so the fact that like you could be having a conversation with someone and you can go ahead and be clear on communication and the person will completely bypass that little bibliography you send and hit you with response to something that you said way long ago. Like, what kind of fucking shit is that? Like, it led me to be like, you know what? Like, why do people do this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is the real, like, deal on this? Like, there's something got to be, like, be able to explain this shit, because this is some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And excuse me for swearing so damn much, but it really just grinds my gears, like Peter Griffin. You know what I mean? Now, so me being me, my friends like to say my little Sagittarian brain started going. And I really started analyzing it. And I'm just like, why do people do this? Like, it happens all the time. It happens with romantic partners. It happens with friends. And to be more specific, me, I have to bring in the data statistics. And so I was like, doing my research. I'll leave links below with the, the videos, of course, because there's always a video, always a reference. But I realized in one of the videos I was watching, 23% of ghosting happens within romantic partners. And then a whopping 40% happens amongst friends. You know what I mean? So that puts us at 63%. So like, what is it? Like 37% is just for no fucking given reason, or like, just because. Well, I guess that's where jobs and stuff and like that can come into play. Maybe families included in there, because we're talking about friendship and romantic doesn't include relatives and shit. I'm sorry, there be times that you gotta ghost your family sometimes. I'm sorry, it be like that, because a lot of people have take me as I am thing, and it leads you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna take you as you are, but I'm gonna leave you right over there because I gotta go right here. You know what I'm saying? But is that really the right thing to do? Like, is ghosting really healthy? If we're trying to unlearn to relearn, and getting away from toxic behaviors and patterns, don't you think ghosting is toxic? It comes from an unhealthy place. You know what I'm saying? So what is ghosting, right? Ghosting is like defined, I believe, in 2007, the Urban Dictionary defined it to be like a strategy. What is it? Like a strategy to leave a partner without direct severing. You know what I mean? And then in 2016, I believe it was actually featured in the actual dictionary. I'm not going to be specific because I didn't go that far. But I'm going to assume, like allegedly, that it's Webster's dictionary. I don't know. You guys can figure it out. Let me know. But I don't know. But so when we think about ghosting, like, psychologists started diving into it. Now, when the therapists, psychologists, and doctors start getting involved, that's because, like, shit, it's an epidemic. You know what I'm saying? So they started really looking into it, and they find that, like, how you view relationships ultimately, like, coincides with whether or not you actually participate in ghosting. And so, it really, like, is an interesting perspective. You know what I mean? And now when we get into it, as far as like how you view relationships is how you, whether or not you participate in ghosting. Like, if you have a fixed mind, like, you believe that things are set in stone, that things are destined. So if it falls apart, it's just not meant for you. But if it comes back together, then it is. Yeah. Whatever. And then if you have a growth mindset, right? those are the people who are less likely to ghost because they look at it as like every relationship has its hurdles and we are here to jump every single one. Either way, those two are extremes. Like, we really are a fucking extreme ass society. This is like some nonsense because, like, how I see it is like you need to be able to say what's on your chest and you really need to own what you say and stand on it. If you are literally coming to a point where you're like, hey, well, I feel this, and this way right here, right now, but ultimately I want to feel this way. I got to figure out how to get from here to there. Communication goes a long way. Clarity goes a long way because while you are in process, you're giving the person the opportunity to even decide, like, right here, right now, whether or not they even want to be here for your process. Now, if they don't want to be here for your process, shit, if they ain't gonna shoot with you in the gym, why do they deserve, all the prizes you get at the end of it? Sorry, my nose is like running today. I ain't got corona though, just throwing that out there. Anyways, what people have to understand is that, like, all right, being the ghoster, you feel as though like you have the room and opportunity to kind of like set the tone. What you're not understanding a lot of times, and people might think it's a logical thing to do to avoid confrontation, to avoid awkward tension, whatever. But on the receiving end, it really, really does some detrimental, like, psychological turmoil. You know what I mean? Because it's leaving that person to feel like they're not good enough. It leaves that person to sit there and feel like they don't have closure. And, I understand there's this thing of, sometimes, no response is a response. Okay, cool. But some people really just don't know how to articulate their thoughts in an effective manner for it to be very clear. So I'm like on the, different sides of the fence sometimes. Like, I really just be sitting there trying to figure it out. Like, is no answer an answer, or is no answer really just you not sure how to process and tell me, and whatever. Now, when we go for like who predominantly does the ghosting, right? There, it could be male or female, but like a lot of times you hear a lot of women complaining about men ghosting them. So I'm gonna focus a little on that. We can have a part 2 at a different time and we can talk about the men once I get a little more feedback from everybody, because we're in this together, you know what I'm saying? Like, we working together, and I'm gonna need y'all to really sit there and hit up that DM on Say Your Perspective, because we need to talk about this, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have a part 2, but right now I'm gonna focus on the women, because shit, I'm a woman, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk about from my perspective. No, sir. But shit, it's all about me. No, sir. I'm kidding. I'm really kidding. But like, if we really, really want to be technical, right? A lot of times we do in today's society find that women feel that they're being ghosted by men. And a lot of times it's because a man will see super interested, he's all for it, and then all of a sudden it's either he backpedals a little bit or he just goes MIA. Now, I actually did a little more digging, me. I went down the rabbit hole. And in the rabbit hole, there's this guy, I think he goes, essentially he's clinically diagnosed narcissist. Like, he is very conscious and self-aware he's a narcissist. And he was given the perspective of ghosting from a narcissistic perspective as a man, which is really interesting, and in a way, from now, I'm gonna leave a link too about narcissism, because I believe that a lot of us do carry narcissistic tendencies, especially considering social media, so on and so forth. Those things added to the whole narcissistic tendencies that a lot of us embody, whether it's consciously known or subconsciously. And a lot of times, remember, there's spectrums. There's extremities. So you could be, just a tad bit narcissistic, and then you could be super narcissistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think, with the culture of everyone saying you're narcissistic, everybody's narcissistic, we are really truly taken away from the true nature or definition of what narcissism truly is. So I'm gonna leave a link. It's like 7 minutes. Not gonna take up your whole day. It's really interesting though. Now, when we take into the account of the ghosting culture with the narcissism, if a man truly is narcissistic, you know what I mean, and he goes ahead and ghosts you, it essentially is his manipulative way to, leave the door open. You know what I mean? And, they say people only treat you how you allow them. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we take that into account as the ghostee, right? If the ghoster's narcissistic and he's going ahead and he's trying to leave the door open because, shit, he just wants to be able to like trickle back in whenever he feels like it. And the ghostee allows it. Sis, come on. Come on now. Come on. Lee said, he's going to leave the door open. He's going to walk through it. So, I'm just saying. See, it's not even me just saying. Lee says it too. Like, I really, really just... I wish more people would just take a step back, really get to know themselves, and understand what are your boundaries. If you have your boundaries set in stone and you know what you will and will not take, it makes it that much easier for you to let it be known to the person. Instead of sitting here with this ghosting and canceling culture and, just because it doesn't align with how you feel, you may or may not speak on it, and it is what it is, and you don't give a fuck because you don't owe nobody nothing. You actually do. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be realistic. Everybody owes somebody something when it comes down to if you're actually taking, the initiative to allow that person to come into your bubble. If you have your bubble and you allow people to come into it, you owe every single one of them a piece of you, right? Because you're allowing them into your space. Now, when I say that, and I might not, for a lack of a better term, I might not be saying it the way that I'm really, processing it in my mind. And that's fine. We're going to get there together. But like, essentially what I'm trying to say is, so an example, if I go ahead and say, here's my bubble. Now, Lee, that's my homie. Lee, you're in my bubble, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if Lee's in my bubble, and then for some, God forbid, whatever reason, that I feel as though that Lee, I don't want him in my bubble anymore or whatever, or I want to keep him like right outside my bubble, but not directly in my bubble. What the fuck do I look like going to just ghost Lee or cancel Lee? Like, it's more of a me thing than it is a him thing, right? Like, it like ghosting has like the term has been used in the last like couple few years, decade, whatever, but that's a return to sender back in our parents and grandparents' day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been a thing. People do that, but it really is just avoidance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you truly avoiding the truth? Like, just say shit with your chest. You know what I'm saying? You could find a loving way to say it, but remember, I honestly, truly believe ghosting comes from a place of, or even the cancel culture, not knowing how to relationship and not knowing how to conflict. That's what it all boils down to. Because instead of me just going ahead and ghosting Lee or canceling Lee, I could tell him like simply, Lee, listen, at this point in time, like, I know we were cool, I know everything was smooth, blah 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 blah, but like where my headspace at is right now, this ain't gonna work for this like the way that it is right here right now. I think that we should do X, Y, and Z. And then he can go ahead and counter however he feels, or say what's on his chest, and then from there we can simply try to figure out a common ground, a middle ground of how do we proceed forward. Or we could simply just leave each other the fuck alone. But it doesn't mean that we have to go ahead and have beef. We're not ops. It's just we're, on two different paths, right? Like, this shit is just crazy to me. Like, people want to scream, I'm an adult, I'm this, I'm that, I'm mature. It's almost like that analogy of, that concept of, and I'm going to use it as an analogy of, everybody wants to be the boss until you get the invoice. It's not for everybody, like, for real. If you're immature, you're immature. Own that. But don't go sit there and ruin people in the midst of it. Because hurt people hurt people. If you have this, like, where you don't want to be vulnerable, if you have this, complex within you where you don't know how to articulate yourself in a certain manner, or you don't know how to relationship and, not necessarily how to conflict in a healthy manner, then fucking leave people alone. Be by yourself until you figure it the fuck out. Go seek some therapy. There's coaches. There's, online, in person. There's therapists. There's doctors. Like, figure it the fuck out. Own your fucking shit. Because what you're doing is literally building bridges just to burn it. And that's some toddler ass shit. Like, you ever see toddlers play with Legos? I believe it was a doctor that was, what show is that? It had to do with like people who were engaged or married or in a long-term commitment, and they were in a house and trying to figure it out if they're gonna stay together or if they're just gonna call it quits. But this doctor, I believe her name is Dr. Nicole. I gotta figure her out, but she said it best. You know, sometimes, especially how women, you know, we try to figure out men. I am one of those women too. Like I really try to figure out men, and I feel as though I have a good handle on understanding, you know, what men are. But like even, you know, my best friend has said it. Like maybe we're not as women supposed to understand men, just like men are not supposed to understand women. We're just supposed to figure out how to deal with each other. You know what I mean? And allow the space for us to just exist, and then find a common ground to coexist. So it goes back to like how I tell all my clients the bubbles, right? The circles. Damn, do I have something I can play with it? Whatever. So we're gonna use my hands. My hands are kind of small, so this is why I was trying to get something bigger so we could really show it. But anyways, so this is me, and this is everything, you know, I am, come with, you know, who I am, what I like, what I don't like, so on and so forth, right? This is said person, whether it be friend, relative, intimate partner, so on and so forth. And this is who they are and what they like, what they don't like, and what they come with. When we meet each other, right? When they say you're supposed to be whole when you meet someone, I think we think we're supposed to be whole in the sense of completely healed and put together and all that. That's not what the fuck it means, right? Just like everything to me has like a dual meaning, right? I think it's supposed to be, we're just supposed to be self-aware. We're supposed to know who the fuck are we? What do we like? What don't we like? And that's it. So that is us coming whole, right? Flaws and all. The person's coming whole, flaws and all. When we come together, we're only supposed to like meet, and it's not like where we touch. We're literally like meeting, so there's like a little football in between us, right? This is why I need like visuals, because I feel like nobody's really getting me.
I'll put some little circles.
Okay, cool. He got me. See, this is what Lee. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so we're supposed to, and that little football that's in between the two circles, that's where we meet, and that's where it comes to what we like with each other. Like, you know, the things we like, activities, interest, all those things is where we meet. But we're still two individual people. You know what I'm saying? That football is the middle ground. That's where we compromise. That's where we, like, you know, make the dynamic in the relationship work. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we take that into consideration, is ghosting really, like, you know, productive for that? Absolutely not. You ever be with someone and like you guys are together and you guys get into an argument and all of a sudden you're just not talking to each other, but you guys live in the same house and you guys see each other every day, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing until he says something, and I'm not gonna say nothing until she says something. How the fuck is anybody gonna say anything? So what we need, the kid to come in the middle and be like, hey, mom, dad, let's talk about this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Like, what are we showing our kids? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, clearly we don't know how to relationship, so why the fuck are we in the relationship, right? But when we think of, and sorry, I'm going to go on a little tangent today. Like, this is just where my mind's been for the past, like, week. You know what I'm saying? And when we think about it, I did a post talking about forgiveness, right? And whether someone does something, you know, intentionally or unintentionally, it affects. Every action has a reaction. Now, when we come to a point where, like, you know, when we all are out here, we want life partners, we want our soulmate, we want, you know, our forever person. Do we want someone who is perfect and that's just it and everything is just so sound smooth and, you know, is that real? You know, Disney fucked us up, all right? Like, for real. Because that shit's non-existent, okay? Reality is, it is a conscious decision to choose to love and be loyal to a person every single day. Relationships and true marriages, like back in the day, shit, they didn't even have a choice half of the time. A lot of them have, like, well, not a lot of them. Let me go. I come from a family that is from Africa, as well as islands off the west coast of Africa. So shit, Africans, but you know, Cape Verdeans are mixed. You know, Creole means mix in was it Latin language, and Cape Verdeans are very mixed. We'll go in the history of Cape Verde one day, but essentially it's like, you know, it was considered slave ports, I believe, during the Atlantic slave trade times, and so that is why well, if you see my mom looks Puerto Rican, but like, she likes to do this joke where like people like, well, you're from Dakar, which is where Akon's from. They're like, how the hell you so late? And you got like, black curly hair. And she's like, her mom never let her outside. But that's just like a morbid joke. Like, I come from a very morbid sense of humor of a family. But, when we sit here and we're talking about, a lot of times there was a lot of arranged marriages, and a lot of arranged marriages came from, like obviously countries outside of the United States. But within the United States, we have the luxury of being able to, kind of choose our partners, you know what I'm saying? Or kind of like have the freedom of choice with, who we rather align ourselves with and who we rather not align ourselves. Where we lost our touch of longevity is this instant gratification, this if you don't think like me, we can't coexist. And that's part of the cancel culture. This is why it's counterproductive. And it doesn't leave room for perspective and room for growth and room for you to say like, well, I can agree to disagree. That's healthy relationshiping. It's literally always like a compromise. It's always a negotiation. Like when we take relationship and we look at it in the aspect of like in a business mind like setting per se, it's your entity, my entity, and we're looking to partnership and develop this corporation. And with this corporation, we need to do what benefits both entities, right? Now that is going to be the trade-off. And how these entities stay into business for years and years and years is by constantly coming to the drawing board and figuring out, okay, well, the trend is moving this way. How do we, kind of ride the trend or beat the trend to, get to the next point? You know what I'm saying? So like when we think about relationships and whether it's friendship or romantic, we need to be realistic at the fact that everyone is growing and evolving. Shit, your cells in your body change, like, it's completely new every 7 years. So you tell me the same fucking person every, all this time? No, you're a new person every 7 years, essentially. Technically. That's an interesting perspective. I don't know, But, if you put it in that aspect, it kind of put things into perspective. Like marriages, relationships, friendships is a conscious, effort. You know what I mean? It's literally figuring each other out and growing. You know what I'm saying? Now, just because something doesn't rub you right, just because something doesn't mean go cancel that person, doesn't mean go freaking ghost that person. You know what I'm saying? And I even had to take some accountability my damn self because shit, for those who know me personally, they already know like the last 2 years have been special for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's come to a point where like I'm taking accountability on my own end because I know I've contributed to some of the confusion or chaos or whatever, but it's not intentionally. It's literally because I'm figuring myself the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Quarantine had us sitting with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So I literally have been redefining my morals. I've been redefining my perspectives. I've been redefining who is Jocelyn. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Jocelyn, so she's running for Inc. magazine, you know what I'm saying? Cover Girl 2022. So I'm gonna leave the link there too and go vote for your girl because I'm trying to represent, you know what I'm saying? And I'm cute, you know what I'm saying? No, you cut it out. But yeah, no, like we have to be honest, we have to be real with ourselves. Like we can't just sit there and be like, you know what? Fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very extreme. Like, come on. How do you expect anybody to want to be there with you when you're 60? You know what I'm saying? You're like, with the wrinkles and the saggy skin. Who the fuck is going to want to really be around you if you're a cranky? You ever see those? No, matter of fact, have you guys ever been to an old lady facility or old people facility? You ever see those old ass cranky motherfuckers? Old ass cranky motherfuckers. Yo. Why are you touching me? Get the fuck away from me. I'm like, damn, I'm just trying to help you, sir. Like, let me get, now, fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on. Like, he's trying to cancel you out. He's trying to have you go, like, get the fuck out. Come on. Let's be real right now. Is canceling people, is ghosting people really, really the right thing to do? Now, why do people fucking even cancel people? I mean, no, ghost people. I'm sorry. It's on topic. Ghosting. So this psych group sat back and they did this whole research and analysis thing, and they say there's 6 reasons. 1, lack of feeling safe. Now, when we talk about safety, the first thing that comes to my mind is the online dating shit, right? for those of us who know me, know how I feel about online dating. It's a little creepy. I don't know. There's just a lot of things that go on out there, and it's just there's articles too, and the law and order doesn't help it either. So like there's just a lot of reasons why I'm very, very reserved when it comes down to online dating. And like I've come to, learn about myself just in this past like weekend, literally like the last couple of days. That I like familiarity, you know what I'm saying? And I might butcher that word, excuse me, whatever, but familiarity, okay? All right. And I guess it's because like most people, when they approach you, when they meet you, they show you like their best self, right? Or what they perceive to be their best self. Like now, when we think about social media, I'm gonna tell you right now, 99% of the time I look like who shot me, ran, came back and shot me again. And it's because my hair don't be done. I don't really wear makeup like that. And I only do it because shit, I am going to put my top 1-2% over here because all you guys are going to see me. And some of y'all don't know me. So therefore you don't know I'm a dope ass person. So therefore you can look beyond the skin. You know what I'm saying? But I am pretty under here too. I do have some pictures that I show without makeup. Whatever. Getting off topic. Anyways, so when we talk about like social media, to me is your portfolio, right? It's a representation of yourself, but you're going to highlight yourself. You're going to put your best attributes. You're going to put your best pictures. I guarantee like majority of us, those tagged photos that people be playing on you with, you know what I'm saying? You don't have that shit showing because it's like, damn well they got you with the wrong angle. You got like your shirt on, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just really ain't your friend or your family because they really be doing you dirty with some of these photos that they want to go ahead and post. They know they look good and they'll be here like, well, look at, and you're like, what the fuck about me? Well, bitch, I look good. I'm gonna post this anyways. Like, come on. Anyways, so back to the safety part. So when you meet people online, you don't know their intentions. Come on, look at the Tinder swindler. Come on. That boy looked rich. He swindled these bitches out of money because at the end of the day, they bought into what the fuck he sold them. It's a dream. To me, social media is your marketing. You are your brand, and social media is your marketing platform. So therefore, yeah, and there'll be some psychopaths on there that literally go on these apps and target single mothers because essentially they're pedos. Well, this is a article that I read, and it was in regards to like people asking inmates who are in there for pedophilia. Am I gonna fuck up the algorithm talking about that shit?
Probably. I'll strike it.
Okay, cool.
I'll just blur it out. But
right.
They know what you're talking about.
All right, yeah. So there be people that are inappropriate with their liking. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But they will go ahead and target single mothers because the single mothers have what they inappropriately like. So they try to gain the trust of the mom. And then the mom is like, obviously being a single mom, and I'm speaking as one, should be tough. And you want to go ahead and be able to do things. And you're looking at it, this is my partner. So therefore, you may leave your kids with them innocently on your behalf. And then you come to find out some wild shit may or may not happen. I'm not saying it always does, but I'm just saying like there are stories like that. And a lot of these guys target women on social media or like dating online. So the safety part, I can understand why some people goes because some people like to do this love bombing. And that could be a lot. And then you just be like, all right, you know what? I don't know. Because this guy might, be on some Joe, from you. And I ain't trying to be in that box downstairs. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But this is one of the reasons. So that's number one. Number two, revenge. So, like, you ever be with someone and then they do you dirty and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play it smooth. So then I'm going to go ahead and, like, wheel them right back in. And then now I'm going to go shoot and see how you like it. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, why give out with that energy? Because then, you know what? You might, they might find their way back to you and swindle you back. And then all of a sudden they go, it's like a tit for tat ping pong thing. Who got time for this? This is games. We ain't got time for that. Some of us are in our late 20s, early 30s, or shit, even 40s. And we're over here trying to get married. We're trying to get that forever happiness. You ain't gonna get that doing these dumbass games. So to me, counterproductive. Anyways, number three, fear of intimacy. So back to that vulnerability thing. Some people are really scared of vulnerability. And it could be because of your childhood. Well, it's not, could be. It is because of your childhood. Your authoritarian figures failed you. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, go get fucking therapy and understand that it's okay to be vulnerable with people and understand you don't need to cancel them or ghost them just because you're scared that you're getting too close. Stupid. It's stupid. I'm gonna say that, okay? Fight me, I don't care. No, it's not. Don't fight me. Just kidding.
Comments gonna be crazy.
And I would be like, this stupid. Number 4, easiest course of action. That's some coward shit. Okay? If you got, say it with your damn chest. Be an adult. Back to what I was saying about the immaturity shit. Like, come on. Anyways. Number 5, going through something. Now, this I understand first-handedly, right? But you still need to communicate that. I can't just be like, you know what? I'm going through something. Life is getting the best of me and shit. My clients, you know, low-key, they think I be ghosting them, but it's not it. It's just I do be busy. But at the same time, it's not like, as far as, you know, that's where the fine line gets between, you know, business and pleasure, because, you know, I am a hairstylist, and I am high in demand, so it's like, it's kind of hard, because it's like, my clients are like my homies, but at the same time, we're trying to keep this topic based on, like, you know, your bubble, your circle of people, right? So, my clients, I love you guys, but, you know, it's not personal. Just like, you know, when you're going through something, okay, I get it, but not for nothing. If I'm going through something, if my cousin's going through something, because I really only got like 5 people that I'm really close to, and like, if we're going through something, we legit communicate that, because we're adults. We know we're all about healthy relationshiping and conflicting. You know what I'm saying? And that way too, a lot of times, when we're going through something, we may not think we need certain words of encouragement or just people being there for support or that moral support, and we end up getting that provided to us, and it actually changes the trajectory of what we're going through. Now, number 6, afraid of confrontation. So now that brings us back to number 4 with easiest course of action. Immature, okay? Like I said, that goes back to that, you know, everybody want to be a boss, but not everybody's ready for the invoice type shit. Like, you can't be the boss and not pay the cost. Like, that's just not how it works. You can't, you know, like, invest into someone or pour into them and then just decide, you know what, I don't want to have this confrontation. It's the easiest way for me to just go. That is stupid. Okay? You're not, like, we need to love each other like kids love each other. I don't see no kids canceling each other. And if they do, it's for a split second and they come back. Okay? They don't ghost each other, all right? They just don't do that. We're sitting here ass backwards. Okay? Let's get it the fuck together. Let's know better to do better. You know what I'm saying? And so right here, we're learning that ghosting and canceling is literally counterproductive. Now, what is counterproductive? It's not getting us nowhere. Okay? All right. Because, like, people do ghosting because why? They think that, you know, the person that they're ghosting is going to get the idea. What if it's a person who literally misses social cues? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ghostee. What if the ghostee really has no social cues and they literally just keep going? Like, they're like, oh, it's okay. You ever have, no, matter of fact, you know what, sis? Women, I know you feel me on this because there's that guy that's in your inbox that says, hey, Chula, hey, mommy. You know, some people don't miss, like, they don't get it. Eventually they'll get it. No, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, whatever. But yeah. And then, you know, what else? It also comes off to the ghostee, right? On the receiving end, that the ghoster has a lack of compassion, because it does say a lot about you as the ghoster. There's something up with you that you feel as though that it is okay. It's almost like you having either the God complex, in my opinion. You either got the God complex, you got, like, you know, and the God complex, but for those who don't understand psychological terms, it has to do with you feel superior and like on some, you know, all hail to me. You know what I'm saying? So for you to be the ghoster, it does say a lot about you and your character. People could perceive you that maybe you have a God complex, you have a lack of compassion. Like, it also comes off as though, like, almost like a form of entitlement. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you don't owe nobody nothing, but it's like if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't like it done to you. So now when we bring the religious aspect of it, is God says, you know, don't do to others as you do to others as you want done to you. Is that how it goes? I'm trying to ask my Bible over here. I'm trying to ask my Bible over here. She's being quiet, but I'm trying to ask my Bible. And y'all know, those who know me, it's my cousin, because my cousin, she be on it with the biblical shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with her for that. She brought me closer to God, But, and then if we want to go on a spiritual, universe concept, it's the karma. You know what I'm saying? Like, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So it might not happen right here, right now, but down the line, shit, karma is real fucking real. So you could be ghosting the girl that might be great for you, or the guy that might be great for you. And then the one that you really want ghosts you.
There's an old expression for men: the woman that you're chasing is busy chasing the nigga.
Like, legit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, we need to do better. Fuck. Like, this shit's crazy. We need to bring back, like, nuclear families. We need to bring back long-standing relationships. And not for nothing, and I'm going to be real, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of heat with a lot of females with this, but my people who know me know where my heart is, and they know what I mean by this. But a lot of the issues do fall on the women. We have been given way too much power. And when I say we've been given way too much power can become corrupt. And then that brings me to the conversation of the feminist movement. And that is something that I was going to talk about today, but instead I had to say that because that was speaking on my chest and I just had to get it out. But like, there's 4 waves of the feminist movement. The first 2, I'm all for. These last 2 is some bullshit. And that's what's really setting us on the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, this backboard. Essentially, we need to understand that we really need to get it together as women, because a lot of us are out here as single mothers and we are setting the standard and the stage for our children. And if we can't relationship, if we can't conflict, how the fuck do we expect that we're going to be able to teach our kids effectively how to do so? And in reality, if we think about it, a lot of men do know how to relationship because most men have more long-standing friendships and jobs than us women do, if we want to look at it in that perspective. So we put a lot of blame on men. We say about, patriarchy, blah, 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 whatever. But not for nothing, the real oppressed is the men. And it's also a lot to do with the 3rd and 4th wave of the feminist movement. And I am pro-women in the sense of us being able to be our best versions of ourselves. I am pro-women in the sense of us being treated with respect, us being treated with dignity, us being treated as humans. You know what I mean? However, the sexual liberation aspect of it hasn't helped us. It actually, we'll get into that with the feminist movement because it really goes deep. So, and we think about, there's no such thing as a wage gap. More women have more education than men in the United States, especially within the Black community. What else? What was the other thing? Suicide. More men commit suicide than women do. Why? Because men literally carry the fucking world on their shoulders. And if they do not have peace, if they do not have the rooms and opportunities to blossom, what do you think that's going to do to them? They don't get coddled like us women. Us women, we get coddled. We get, told everything's all going to be all right. If we start talking about how, we're trying to get it the fuck together, we're trying to figure it out, blah, 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 blah. We have people cheering us on. Yeah, like, yes, queen, don't worry. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to work out in your favor. But have the same man, the same age, say the same thing.
Be a man.
You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from a man. You know what I'm saying? But that is the reality, and we really need it. We need to like take this unbalanced scale and kind of balance it, almost like how Libras do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really need to understand that we really just gotta know better to do better. Stop fucking canceling people. Stop, ghosting people. Really understand that we need to learn how to relationship and conflict. And I'm gonna keep fucking saying that because at the end of the day, we have to understand that our kids' lives are at stake. And whether they are biologically your child or not, we have an effect on them. You know what I'm saying? Because our stage that we create is what's being set for all of them. You know what I mean? Because if we raise our kids a certain way, for those of us who have biological kids, and then everybody else has nieces and nephews or whatever, and we're contributing into their, moral compass and all that other stuff, they go out into the world and said kids meet said nieces and nephews and they intermingle, and then we just keep the chaos going. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's get it together, people. Court is adjourned. No, so I'm kidding. But, like, seriously, this shit's crazy to me. And, we just really have to understand that a lot of us women set unrealistic expectations and goals in our minds because fucking Disney. That's all I'm gonna blame it on is Disney. Well, I'm gonna take accountability. Like, obviously, I'm consuming it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you know what, Disney said this, or the world says this, and I'm really gonna feed into that. But ultimately, it's my decision to feed into it or unlearn to relearn, and that's what the fuck I chose, was to unlearn to relearn. That's why I said the last 2 years was kind of crazy, But yeah, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Put that bell, make it ring a ding ding, so you guys know as I'm pulling up, like, what's happening. And slide over to Instagram, slay your perspective. Be sure to let me know what you guys think. And I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but I really don't care because I said what I said, and there's a reason why I said it. And on top of that too, we are all human, okay? And you can't cancel somebody that just don't give a fuck. All right? Like Dave Chappelle. Well, Dave Chappelle also got, fuck you money. So I ain't there yet, but I will be. And I'm already at the I don't give a fuck point right now. I give a fuck enough to say we need to do better. I give a fuck enough to say, hey guys, like, let's look at this problem and let's form a solution together. I give a fuck enough to say this shit affects my kids in the future and, all other future kids. So we need to kind of do better for them. You know what I mean? Equip them better than we was equipped. Because clearly a lot of us were failed by our parents and aunties and grandmas and grandpas. Like, but let's think about it. Like, Meemaw, stay with Pawpaw, and we all know that Pawpaw got Junebug and all them other kids on the other side too. So so clearly he was doing something, but whatever, but let's try to bring it back to the drawing board. Let's, they obviously got something done, right? People got houses even after the spouse died. Like, come on, they did something, right? The stability was, set in stone. The security was there. Let's do the same, But yeah, don't forget Ink Magazine. Links will be down below. All right. Love you guys.